Alright guys, so we're just going to jump straight into it, and I am starting off by doing my brows. I am using a powder for my brows, and I'm using this slanted brush from Morphe. I'll link it down below because I don't have it right next to me. But I've been doing eyeshadow on my brows. This one is just a dark brown from the Morphe 350 palette. Then I'm cleaning up underneath my brows, and I'm using the Anastasia concealer in the shade 2.0 with this little slanted brush, and I'm just blending it out with my fingers like I always do. Now I'm using the Too Faced Shadow Insurance just to prep my eyes for my eyeshadow look. And I just blend that out with my finger. This is one of my favorite eyeshadow primers so far. Now I'm going with the Too Faced Sweet Peach palette. I'm so excited to be using this palette finally. I'm going in with the color Peaches and Cream, and I'm just using that to set my primer just so everything blends into each other. At work, we were having a Sweet Peach event at my store, and we were having the only one in the entire country, so they wanted us to do looks. We had a little contest of peach looks. So that is why I decided to use this palette for this look. Now I'm going in with the color Georgia Peach, and this is just a very, very soft peach color, and I'm using my Sephora Pro Crease 10 brush just to start mapping out where I want my crease. Since I'm going to be doing a cut crease, I bring the color a little bit higher just because I'm going to bring my crease a little bit higher since I don't have one naturally. Now I'm going to go in with Candied Peach, which is more of like a vibrant peachy color, which is my favorite color in the entire palette because there aren't many palettes that have colors like this. And towards the end, I'm kind of like flicking it outwards so that it kind of extends a little bit past my eye, and it just causes for the type of cut crease that I like. And I'm using my favorite little Morphe brush. I'm sure you guys are tired of it. I basically just keep intensifying it, going back in, back and forth with the Candied Peach and the Georgia Peach, just to make sure everything's blended, but also to make sure that I have the pigmentation that I want. So you can see here, this is a second layer of the Candied Peach, just to help keep it nice and vibrant. Now I'm going in with the Morphe by Jaclyn Hill palette, and I'm using that palette with a smaller Morphe brush just to help intensify the peach a little bit more. I wanted to make sure that the peach was as intense as I could possibly get it, and since that's one of the only palettes I have with it, I decided to layer it. Now I'm going in with Puree, and this is a really, really soft brown, really pretty color, a nice warm brown, and I'm going to start kind of mapping out where I want my cut crease to go, and I'm using that little Morphe brush that I always use. I use the same brushes over and over again, guys, because those are my favorite. And you can see I'm slowly kind of mapping out where I want it to go before I go ahead and cut my crease out. Now I'm going in with Summer Yum, which is another really pretty, rich, nice brown, and I'm just going to layer that on top of that brown that I already had. Now I'm going in with Charmed, I'm Sure, and that's the darkest brown that's in the palette. And I'm taking this little kind of like flat shader brush, like a flat, like under eye, like under your waterline brush, and I'm using that to really like carve where I want it to be. You can see it a lot more once I actually use my concealer and sculpt out my lid. But this is just the darkest brown that's in there, so I just decided to use that as well. Now I'm going in with this color from that same Morphe Jaclyn Hill palette. It's just a dark brown, and I'm just using that to intensify it a little bit more since that other brown wasn't too dark. Now I am cutting out my crease. So I'm using the Eden, is it Eden? The Eden concealer from Urban Decay, the primer potion. I'm using this slanted brush just to get me a precise, sharp cut. And then I'm just blending all of it out. And I'm using this little brush from, I think it's Kat Von D. It's the Kat Von D Shade and Light brush, and I'm using that just to blend it all out. Now I'm going in with the lightest color in the palette, aside from the white. It's called Peaches and Cream, and I'm going to use that to pack onto my lid to set that shade, like that primer on my lid. And it's the lightest peach color. It's one of my favorite shades as well. I really, really like that color with the candied peach. Now I'm going back into my crease with that little tiny Morphe brush that I always use, back with candied peach, just to make sure that it's nice and intense. Now here I am lining my eyes, and I'm using my favorite Sephora collection liner and then tight lining with the Marc Jacobs gel liner. Now I'm just using the Buxom, I'm pretty sure it's the Buxom mascara, and I'm just putting some mascara on my lashes before I put my falsies on. And here I'm using the new Urban Decay De-Slick Primer. I freaking love this primer. It was going to be a busy day at work, so I wanted to make sure my face stayed nice and matte. Even though I don't have oily skin, I just wanted to make sure that it stayed matte. And I'm using my, what lashes are these? I think these are the Queen Bees. Yeah, they are the Queen Bees. And I had a little issue. The glue went all in my eye and freaking destroyed my life. So now I'm putting on my favorite foundation. This is the Lancome Teint Idol Ultra in the color 380 Bisque W. It's my most long-lasting foundation. It stays the same way all day long. And I'm just pouncing it in with a damp beauty blender, which is my favorite way to apply my foundation. And I just ripped my lash off so I can try putting it on again, because I was having an issue with my lashes this day. Now I'm using my Tarte Shape Tape Concealer, and I'm just going to conceal and highlight the center of my face. And I'm blending it in again with a damp beauty blender. I love this concealer so much. I've been having the worst allergies. I don't know if anyone else's allergies have started, but my nose, my eyes, and my throat have been itchy beyond freaking belief. And here I am setting my under eyes with my Laura Mercier translucent setting powder as usual. I'm pressing it in there with my beauty blender, and then I just kind of pounce it all out. A second time with my lashes. They were such a pain that day. I got so much lash glue in my eyes. I cut it all out of the clip, but my eyes were like dripping soaked like water, just so watery because the lash glue destroyed my eye. So here I am setting my face with my Golden Fawn powder from Sephora collection, just to set everything so I can start to contour. And now I'm using my Too Faced Chocolate Soleil bronzer in the color medium deep, and I'm using that to not only contour and sculpt, but to bronze my skin as well. And I'm using this little angled blush brush from e.l.f. It's one of my favorite brushes. I love it, and I think it was like $3, but it's really good. I've had it for years, and it's still going strong. And I love the way that it shapes out my cheekbones, but doesn't give me like a harsh line. I'm going in with some blush. blush, and I decided to use, actually no, here I'm going in with more bronzer. This is a bronzer from Lancome, and it's just a really, really warm bronzer. I just wanted to add more warmth to my face. Now I'm contouring my nose with the same chocolate Too Faced Chocolate Soleil bronzer with that little angled brush that I always use, and blending it out with that other Morphe I think it's the E22 that I blend out my nose contour with. Now I'm going in with this blush from NARS, and it's called Libert. I don't know, the names from NARS are so weird. I don't know who names them, like I say in almost every video, but it's like a really pretty orangey, peachy blush that I felt went really, really good with this look. Now I'm doing my lower lash line, and I'm just using all the colors underneath my eyes. I started out with Candied Peach, just because it's the peachiest one, and then I start adding the browns and the darker brown. And now I'm highlighting my inner corner, and I'm using the two lightest colors from the palette. One is called Nectar, and the other is called Luscious. One is like a champagne, and the other one is like a gold. And I'm also highlighting underneath my brow. For my lips, I'm using my Makeup Forever 3C lip liner. It's one of my favorite colors of all time, and I'm topping it off with the L'Oreal Pro Matte Infallible in the color Bare Attraction. Now I'm highlighting with my Alchemist palette from Kat Von D. I'm using the Opal shade, which is like a pinky. And this is the finished look. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.